Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. We're here in Vancouver, Canada at the Metals Investor Forum. Um, I'm with Scott Close, Investor Relations with EMX Royalty. Scott, welcome to the
Thank you so much, Greg.
conference.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Again.
So, again, we've done this many times before with EMX, and everybody knows how much I love the royalty model, how much I love EMX. And in my view, you guys have just year after year, you keep building a better value proposition. And now that proposition, in my view, as we were discussing earlier in the Q&A, that you're approaching this, you're getting closer to the $50 million a year in revenue, which gets a lot of attention from people that would want to buy you out.
Indeed.
And that's commendable from where you started, and again, year after year, you've just done the right things for the right reasons for so long, and now it's finally coming to fruition. So I think there's a big payday for investors of EMX, and for you personally, I'm sure, because 12% of the stock is owned by management and directors and employees, right?
That's right. We definitely have a lot of skin in the game. We think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good sign. So we all had a good laugh there when you, in your presentation about a particular project that's named Casharones. It's making you so much money. We called it Casharones.
That's right. Yeah, we love that project. That's in Chile. That's a very large copper and molybdenum property. That was originally operated by JX Nippon, who did an excellent job operating there. When we first bought the first portion of the royalty, we've since made two further small acquisitions to add to that royalty, which now stands at 0.7775% net smelter royalty. The projected mine life was 17 years. And about 3 months after we made the initial acquisition, they then expanded the mine life to a projected 28 years.
Wow.
And then following that up, recently, Lundin Mining has now taken a 51% or controlling interest in the mine. And they're really big into exploration. So we think that, and there's a lot of upside potential there. We've been at that site and had a good look at the geology there. And we think that the mine life is going to be even further expanded.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
This is going to be a very long life asset to us. And we think this is will prove to be a very, very accretive acquisition for shareholders.
Absolutely. Well, especially it's nice too that Lundin now is a partner with you.
Yep.
Right now, that's rock solid. So.
Yeah.
And did I see that slide right where it said Q1 $3 million in revenue?
Yeah, 3 million Canadian in revenue. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're expecting that to continue?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
higher gold prices will only make it higher, right?
Yeah, higher copper prices.
Higher copper.
Yeah.
Right? So. No, that's tremendous. That's congratulations.
Thank you.
Casharones for sure.
Casharones, indeed.
So, let's talk a little bit big picture now. A lot of my subscribers know your story. What is your personal take on where the gold price is going, where copper prices are headed? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, we always have to remember, particularly with gold, it's not the value of the gold that's increasing, it's the value of the dollar that is decreasing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Correct.
Right? And
Correct.
People always say, well, gold's so expensive now. It's like, no, it's your dollars are becoming worth less, right?
Yeah.
So we always have to keep that in mind. Year over year, and this has been true for decades, if you take a look at the chart of copper demand, it increases almost regardless of what's going on in the global economy, whether it's up or down. It increases at about 3% a year.
Yeah, I think that's a very good statistic. That's why I'm bullish on copper after gold.
And a lot of the major copper mines in the world are now very long at tooth.
Right.
And of course, as they get deeper into their mining profile, the more expensive it is to extract that gold or the copper, because those trucks have to wind further and further to get out of the pit, and that consumes a tremendous amount of fuel.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And tires, and then you need more trucks because it takes longer for each one to
do its thing. Yeah,
cycle in and out of the mine. So costs continue to escalate. There's still supply chain concerns around the world with a lot of equipment and technology. So that has an impact too. So there's a lot of exploration going on for copper, but bringing a new copper mine into production can take decades.
Yeah.
So there's probably a big supply constraint coming down the pipeline, and getting in front of that again is going to be a difficult task. But we're going to see that expressed with a higher copper price for sure.
Absolutely. It looks like prices have to go higher based on that scenario. So, and you guys are so well positioned with projects that are, already ramping up or already in production, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it so exciting to see what you've put together here. So I just see it a culmination of what, since Dave first got started, when 2002 was it?
We are actually first publicly traded in the last week of November of 2003. So in November of this year, we will be publicly traded for 20 years.
20 years. And what the company has done during that time, to me, is unprecedented. I don't see anybody else that's done anything even close to what you guys have done. And that's just credit to the team. And you've been with the company
16 years now.
16 years, that's right. So, I mean, hats off to you guys. I mean, what a team, what a great story.
Thank
you. As I've mentioned, it's hard to beat your value proposition. When you're investing, when I tell investors all the time, if you want to invest in this sector, the first company to look at is EMX Royalty, because the downside is so limited and the upside is so big with so little risk. You know, it's really the best company I could recommend to anybody that didn't know anything about this sector, was new and wanted to invest.
Yeah.
You guys are my first choice, hands down.
You're definitely leveraged to the gold and copper prices.
Absolutely. So if you believe that gold and copper is going to go higher, a company like EMX is really hard to beat, as I said in my little quote there that Matt asked me for in the program. So anyway, with that being said, Scott, is there anything else you want to cover that you'd like to mention? Anything news-wise that's worthy to talk
Well,
about?
I think we're going to resolve the Temic royalty negotiation here pretty quickly, and that will take the overhang off of the stock. And so I think people should be prepared for that and position themselves accordingly.
Right. So again, that could be a good bump up in the stock if that gets resolved. As until it happens, you can't bet on it, but it looks good.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember about the royalty on Temic is that royalty agreement was not something we penned originally. That was originally between a company called EMX and Freeport-McMoRan, and we paid $200,000 Canadian for that royalty. So, and that is currently the largest copper and gold mine in Europe. And that is a multi-generational mine. So we will reap orders of magnitude, probably 2 orders of magnitude at least, in royalty revenue life of mine there.
Yeah.
So if it takes us another couple of months to resolve the negotiation, which is just down to some ancillary things now, then in the long term, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Because it's a huge mine, and it's going to pay out for a long time for us. Yeah.
Well, that's quite exciting. Well, as I've told everybody for a long time in these interviews, I love EMX Royalty, and highly recommend them to anybody who's listening. And with that, Scott, we'll call it an interview.
Okay. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.